On this episode of Now You Know, we're going to go over the importance of maintaining your furnace. Most importantly, your heat exchanger. Let's go inside and take a look at this customer's furnace. The heat exchanger is one of the most important components on your furnace. The heat exchanger is going to help create warm air and spread it throughout your home on those cold Wisconsin nights. Having yearly maintenance performed is not only important to ensure that everything is running efficiently, we also want to make sure that there's no unexpected repairs that happen when you need heat the most. When a heat exchanger goes out, it can be dangerous for you and your family because the gas produced in your furnace system can leak into your air, putting you and your family at risk. You know what? Let's go take a closer look at a heat exchanger so you know what I'm talking about. When a technician from Cardinal Heating comes out to your home, they're going to perform a 21-point furnace inspection. Typically what we're going to be looking for is any sort of failure inside your heat exchanger, such as a crack or hole. We're going to be looking for such failures with a camera like this. The heat exchanger is going to be located behind all of these parts. Because it's buried behind everything here, we're going to pull one out so you can get a better look at it. So we went ahead and pulled this heat exchanger out of a high efficiency furnace. These three holes here is where the flame is going to go into after the furnace ignites. This hole right down here is the port for the high limit switch. And this down here, this is just where the inducer motor hooks up to for the secondary heat exchanger in order to collect excessive moisture. This is a side angle look for the cells of the heat exchanger. When a technician's in your home, they're going to take a look at the cells from the top side and on the side as best as we can, because we're going to be looking for any sort of crack, hole, or any other breach that can be in the metal. A lot of times we're going to find cracks back here. A lot of times they can be found in this area. These are very hard to find. Otherwise, holes can be found on the top of the cell in the heat exchanger. Down here is the bottom of the heat exchanger where we find the secondary heat exchanger. The main purpose of the secondary heat exchanger is to gather excessive moisture from condensation. If the water clogs inside the secondary heat exchanger, we're going to look down here for any sort of breach, crack, or hole. If water breaches through that secondary heat exchanger, it is considered a failure and we do have to shut the furnace down. Now that you've gotten a few looks at a good heat exchanger, let's take a look at some failed ones. Follow me. So over in this area, we have a few different examples of different heat exchangers that have failed. We're going to get a closer look so you can see what the failures look like. So this heat exchanger has seen better days. The most noticeable crack that we can find is going to be this one right here in this first cell. There's actually another crack on the same cell right here at the bottom. We go over to the next cell, we have another big crack right here in the middle. You can actually see this one very visibly down here as it comes to the bottom of this cell. Next up, this heat exchanger has a crack in each cell. You can actually see them right here, here, and here. Those are pretty common to find. This heat exchanger only has one failure and it's a crack right in here. Very hard to see, and even though there's only one failure in the system, we need to shut it down. Whether there's one failure or 10, it doesn't matter. Safety is really important to us and we want to make sure your system is running right. We also want to make sure that your family is safe. This one here is going to be an example of a failed secondary heat exchanger. Right up here, you can see some corrosion that's built up at the base. What that is from is excessive moisture building up inside the secondary heat exchanger. And we call this a breach because that water actually busted through the metal in the heat exchanger. And this is still considered a failure, so we need to shut it down because this will also push carbon monoxide into your home. It is critical that your heat exchanger is in good working order to keep you and your family safe. And now you know the importance of the heat exchanger within your furnace system. Keep in mind, your furnace should be checked once a year to ensure everything is running efficiently and safely.